What's up, comic book fans? It's the Emerald Enthusiast of the Multiverse Musings Podcast Network, here with a look at the Hasbro Transformers 20th Anniversary Edition figure of Optimus Prime. I missed out on this figure when it was in retail stores. As you can see, the packaging on this one is in poor condition, so I got a really good deal on it. I've been a fan of the Transformers since the original G1 cartoon and the Marvel Comics days. I'm very excited to review this figure, so let's go ahead and get a look at the package details now. On the bottom front of the packaging, it says 20th Anniversary Edition Optimus Prime. It says Transformers at the top. This is the battle-damaged version, and it comes with a plethora of accessories. And as you can see, we get product shots on the side of the various pieces that come with this figure. This figure comes with the Matrix of Leadership. It has a light-up function, and I'll talk more about that later, as well as a Datacom interface. The figure comes with a Megatron pistol. That's a bit of an odd choice. We get his iconic Ion Blaster, an Energon Axe, and Turbo Contact Support extensions. We get attractive product shots on the back, as well as a brief biography of Optimus Prime. Here is a close-up of the bio. If you'd like to read this, go ahead and pause the video and do so now. We see the Autobot symbol on the top of the packaging. On the bottom, there's some product information. I really do like the way that Optimus is framed within the packaging here. He has his Ion Blaster in his hand. The Axe and the Matrix are packaged neatly within, but they don't take focus off of the figure. And with all that being said, now I think it's time to bust this figure out of the package and see what's inside. The figure comes with directions, and I certainly recommend that you read these thoroughly before you engage in the transformation process. Let's get a look at the accessories here, and we'll start with Megatron. I do like this. Again, I'm not exactly sure why it was included with Optimus Prime, but the work on this is really magnificent. There's the Decepticon symbol on the side. Here's a close-up of the Ion Blaster, and there's just some magnificent sculpting here. I really like the color choice. This has some weight to it. You know, it doesn't feel like something that's going to snap easily. Here's the Energon Axe, and I like the sculpting here too, as well as this translucent plastic choice. It really does look like an energy weapon, so I certainly appreciate that. And last but certainly not least, we have the Matrix of Leadership. The translucent plastic in the middle really pops, and you can see just how reflective this is. Hasbro did a really fine job with all of these accessories, so I certainly appreciate the work that went into these. And here we see the leader of the Autobots. It is Optimus Prime, out of the package and ready to rumble. In many ways, this figure is a collector's dream. There is so much to like about it, although I do have a couple of minor criticisms. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at the loose details now. Let's start by looking at the lower body now. This is constructed very well. These rubber wheels move very easily. You can see the articulation here on the feet. Obviously, these are part of the transformation process. There's just a superb amount of detail on every inch of this figure, as you can see on the back of the legs here. Be careful with these pistons. They feel like they could break if you put too much force on those when you are handling the figure. The figure is very sturdy, and that's a huge positive because you wouldn't want to worry about an expensive figure like this falling over and getting damaged. Here's a look at the lower body articulation. The knees move very well. I mean, you would expect that out of a Transformer figure because obviously it has to move well to do the transformation. I really like how these little flaps move up, and that allows you to get the figure to kick forward. So I certainly appreciate that. Likewise, you can get him to step back because there's another plastic section here on a hinge. And likewise, there's two plastic flaps here directly on the sides. If you flip those up, you can get him into a really deep side kicking pose. So I certainly appreciate the articulation here. So here's a close-up of the torso, and you can see the battle damage here on the grill. Most of the figure is metal, although obviously there are some plastic pieces used. The red paint applications are just really vibrant on this, and that's a huge positive for this figure. You can actually see through the windshield here, and you can see into the cabin when he's transformed. You get these little gray sections here underneath the windshield. You actually even get the detail of the wiper blades, so I certainly appreciate that. Now you have these two little sections that move out when you start to transform the figure. Those feel like they could break if you handle them haphazardly, so be careful when it comes to those. I really like the engineering here on the hands. He has finger articulation, and not only is that part of the transformation process, but that allows him to grip the accessories like the ion blaster. Good movement at the wrist. He has this single jointed elbow. Both arms move freely at the shoulder joint, as you can see here. You can move the arms backward and forward. And let's get a close-up of the Autobot symbol now. As you can see, this symbol has been sculpted. It's not just a sticker. There's a lot of very exact, fine paint work on this, so I really admire Hasbro's work here. So we're also given 360 degrees of rotation at the shoulder joint. As you can see, you can fully rotate this around. He also has swiveling at the elbow, which is very helpful when you're posing the figure. You can put his blaster in his hand and get him to point it in any direction. So I like that aspect of this figure as well. Here's a close-up of the head sculpt, and it's instantly recognizable as Optimus Prime. You can see the faceplate there. One of the first things that I noticed with this figure, the plastic that they used for the eyes, it's very reflective, and it really looks like they have life in them. And as you can see, the head moves very well. You can get it to tilt and move side to side very easily. So Hasbro did an outstanding job at capturing the essence of Prime's G1 look with this head sculpt. So there's one last feature that I need to talk about on the head sculpt here. There's a button on the back of his head, and if you press that button, it actually moves the faceplate, and it looks like he's talking, so that is really cool. If you do stop motion, this would be really advantageous. On both arms, he has a datacom interface, so you just flip that open, and you can take the arm here and just kind of rotate it towards him, and you see Bumblebee on the screen, so it's like he's talking to Bumblebee. So that's very innovative on the part of Hasbro. On the opposite arm, the datacom interface is Starscream, so I can only imagine what that conversation would be like. So now I'm going to put the Matrix in Optimus. The windshield opens out to each side, as you can see. And then you take this piece here and just flip that up, and you'll see this little gray box, and that's where you port the Matrix into his chest. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So as you can see, the Matrix fits into his chest. It fits in there snugly. You don't have to worry about it falling out. So I am a fan of this feature of the figure as well. To get him to wield the Energon axe, you pull out this panel on his arm, and you curl the hand into a fist, and then you use the panel to push the fist back into the arm here. So once you have his hand up in his arm, you just take the edges of the Energon axe and work them into the edges of his arm here. And once you have it in place, you'll know it fits in very snugly. And I like this aspect of the figure as well. That little gray compartment where you place the matrix, it also houses the batteries for the light up function. And here's a little screw that I'm going to take out, and I'm going to show you why you can't really keep this figure mint in box. These are the batteries, and I'm sorry that I don't have replacements for these to use the light up function, but what I'm going to show you here might well save your figure. After 18 years, this is what the batteries look like. You can see the corrosion on the edges of the batteries here, and this is why you have to get the figure out of the package and get the batteries out of the figure. Otherwise, this corrosion could eat its way through and possibly damage your figure permanently. And here is Optimus, fully transformed into truck mode. I didn't want to make this video too long, and the transformation took several minutes. But at the end of this segment, I will be transforming him back and showing you a condensed version of his transformation back into robot mode. So I'd just like to point out a few more details while he's in truck mode. These rubber tires, they move very easily. So getting him to roll, that's not a problem. Again, this chrome plastic is very visually pleasing. You can see how that looks here on the gas tanks on the sides. Again, the Autobot symbol just pops. Again, you can even see the detail here on the pistons underneath. That just looks really amazing. I like this translucent plastic here on the headlights. One other caveat I want to issue here. He feels even heavier when he's transformed like this, and that stands to reason because everything's compact. Now, I have the benefit of some pretty big hands here, but even I got a little tired after holding this guy for a long period of time and transforming him. Be very careful. You may even want to ask for some help because, again, he feels very heavy over time. So you certainly wouldn't want to drop this guy accidentally and damage him, especially given the price point. So, again, I will say to everyone who is handling this figure for any reason, exercise caution. I certainly hope you have enjoyed this review. If so, please like, subscribe, and tell a friend to do the same. Stay tuned for some articulation shots, and also remember to catch me on the Multiverse Musings vidcast, available right here on YouTube. And I'll be back to the internet with more Transformers-related content soon. But until we meet again, this has been the Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching.